Hey guys, this is Gamelander Out here, and I just finished watching the Obi-Wan series. I got a few things to say. I don't know, I don't know how to really start this, how to say it, but the series on a whole, it was not fulfilling, and this is the issue that Star Wars and Disney on a whole, with the Marvel properties and everything, has been having. Their series in particular has not been good or even interesting to watch. I think for Marvel we only had one division that was really interesting until the last part. Everything else was just waste of time and space. And same thing for Star Wars, where Mandalorian was great, but then Book of Boba Fett was meh, and now Obi-Wan was meh. So, as you're saying, I feel like behind everything, this series and everything, one thing I've noticed with them, they've really lacked creativity in any way, shape, or form. They have an inability to stick to the confines and the rules of the world that was previously established by previous content that the same company has put out. So they're constantly changing characters to fit the story that they're trying to tell, whoever writing the script wanted to tell, but not seeing how you can use said character to tell your story. Instead of looking at how you can use your character to tell your stories, you're just changing your character to fit into the story you want to tell. It's kind of funny, in how it all plays out. So, going back to Obi-Wan now. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series has done something that you can say that has really and truly, I would say never been done, but okay, let's just get away. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series has undo everything the Clone Wars has done to the character of Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan in the prequel series has never been, to me, a fairly interesting character. Like, overall, he's okay. He was okay in the prequel series. It wasn't horrendous or horrible. He was okay. Same thing alongside Anakin. Anakin was just okay in the prequel series. There was never a sense of depth to those characters. They were just okay. You understand why they were doing what they're doing, and there were simple rules of logic. Obi-Wan was the stickler for rules, and Anakin was the rebellious type. He was an outcast, so he rebelled against the Jedi Order rules from time to time. Fast forward to the Clone Wars now, that really made Anakin Skywalker interesting and really, I guess, more in-depth and believable character of why. I think the Clone Wars made a lot of people fell in love with Star Wars even more than they have already, or for those who was on the fence because of the prequel series. The Clone Wars actually made them fall in love with the character of Anakin and Obi-Wan. I will firmly state that, and I think for most people can agree that the Clone Wars did that. Star Wars The Clone Wars was well directed and tackled very interesting themes at each point in episode, which let's not go into. We're trying to go into in depth with all that, but the point of the matter is the Clone Wars elevated the character of both Obi-Wan and Anakin to a more relatable and understanding front. To oftentimes the Jedi Order you kind of really understand where Anakin is coming from. When you kind of break down all the perspective of Jedi Order, how do you expect a human with emotions not to rebel against that? But back to Obi-Wan now. When confines of Obi-Wan, his character in the Star Wars Clone Wars had gotten a lot of depth to his character. Overall, you could understand why he was doing everything he was doing, and even to the point of fighting with Anakin, you truly see the pain. I feel the pain because you spend so much long living through the adventures with the character. You feel the pain that he go through for Obi-Wan to actually did what he did to Anakin. Regardless if it was defending himself or not, you can see that hurts him. You could have seen it in the prequel series also, but I think Clone Wars give that a bit more. It give it more emotional impact when it comes to that. And for the Kenobi series to just simply, I guess, unapologetically, like literally just, I don't know, undo all that. Because in the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan was always displayed as someone that was smart and methodical, strong in faith to what the Jedi Order is and should be. He has never seemed like anyone that really truly wavered in the sense where Anakin has wavered from time to time. Obi-Wan always seemed to, no matter what happens, his backdrop is to fall back on the Jedi Order. He doesn't blame the Jedi for anything that tragedy that happened in his life, and for anything that probably went unfulfilled. He regretted a lot of those things, but he understood that he made his choices, and so no matter what happens, he have to live within the confines of the overall responsibility that comes to making choices. And I always gotten that from Obi-Wan through the Clone Wars series, especially those episodes that focus on him as a character. For the Kenobi series now, just to simply open up and basically Obi-Wan abandoned the ways of a Jedi. He's not hiding it. He just simply abandons it completely. In itself was a really distasteful thing to do, because you could have told your story in many different ways. You could have told the story. They could have told the story they wanted to tell, but still stay true to the confines of the character. Because a lot of things did not make any sense, that what happened in Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Kenobi seems very stupid at times. He did not seem like somebody that was really wanted to do anything really. Because first thing that really threw me off is when he turned back a Jedi that was in trouble. And I strongly believe from the Obi-Wan that we have seen in the Clone Wars, the prequel series and the Clone Wars I had expanded upon, Obi-Wan doesn't seem like a person that will simply, Obi-Wan is not the person that will simply abandon a Jedi in need, a fellow Jedi in need. Because it was clear from the Star Wars Clone Wars series that no matter what happens, Obi-Wan is loyal to the belief of the Jedi. And to see a comrade, a fellow Jedi in need, and allow him to be hunted down and killed by the Inquisitor isn't something I believe Obi-Wan would have allowed to happen. He will at least try to help a fellow Jedi that's in trouble, and no matter what or when what his duties are, because he will always try to help a fellow Jedi. That's just something I believe Obi-Wan would have done. I feel like the entire characterization of how Obi-Wan was just poorly done overall. I don't think the writers really understood Obi-Wan. I don't think they understood the conviction that Obi-Wan lived by, because you're telling me after you see the love of your life dies in your arms, which happened in the Clone Wars, your faith within Jedi was not shaken to that degree. You still were very loyal to the Jedi. You basically lived through the horrors of war, over and over again, seeing your comrade falls, people that you may have perceived as your brother also, or some a part of your family dies, your fate have never shaken in the Jedi. And because I understand that what happened to Anakin, Professor Anakin was his brother, so what happened to him was very tragic. But you could clearly see that Obi-Wan knew he wasn't dead. Because in the episode where, I think it's episode 2, where Riva says Anakin is alive, his response is basically like, how did you know that? That secret would have been well guarded. How do you know Vader is Anakin? So at that point, it clearly tells two things. Obi-Wan knew that Anakin is Vader, so vice versa knew that Anakin is alive. And I think that ruins any emotional weight of the character. Even if you want to say he's traumatized by what happened between him and Anakin, you could have played up at the end of it where basically, probably the first fight or something, the last fight where he damaged the mask, you see, oh, who's that? It's Anakin underneath the mask. Then you could have that shot of volley on his face and those type of things. But they didn't go for that. Instead, they go for this convoluted mess of kidnapping Leia, Obi-Wan leaving Tatooine, and it was a disjointed mess. Like, from my personal opinion, I believe that the handling of Obi-Wan Kenobi was a character assassination at best, and it was a poorly done script. It was a poorly done story. It was clear that focus was not Obi-Wan, because a lot of times we focus on Leia and Riva and all those other characters than Obi-Wan. It was a mess. So I guess we can jump into, so we just finished problem 1, which would be the handling of Obi-Wan. Problem 2 now would be side characters. For example, the main one, Riva. So a lot of people talk about Riva, and yes, I've known the actress. I've seen the actress in Queen's Gambit before, and she was pretty good. But what I would say is that as a character, there was something about Riva that felt too much within our time. Riva felt like someone that's from the hood. Let me explain. She felt like someone that, like, I don't know, like, as a black person, and even watching ESC mediums with black people and all that. Normally when there's a black person in a movie, especially in a modern movie where the setting is modern settings, you have them as gangsters. Riva felt like a gangster. Someone that from probably like Chicago, a hood from Chicago or something of the sorts. Her behavior and mannerism was off gangster, more or less. And a lot of her characteristics and things that she does, from the swaying back and forth, the quick to aggression, I strongly believe that, to be honest, I don't like the way how Vader is. Not even Vader, but Inquisitor is, and military, our whole military structures are normally are. Those type of disrespect to your commanding officer wouldn't have been taken if it was real life. So why in a militaristic government where you don't have no issues killing people once they step out of line, are you tolerating Riva's behavior? Because her behavior is blatantly disrespectful all the time. And to be honest, if we're being frank, if the series was being logical, Riva would have suffered a punishment for constant disrespect. Because she did it twice. Not twice, she did a lot. She did a lot, not even twice, she did a lot. She did whenever she's on screen, she was just blatantly disrespectful. Whether it's to the Grand Inquisitor, Vader, or anybody, she was just disrespectful. Like, and people expect you to root for her, but to be honest, a lot of times I wanted her to not die. A lot of times I wanted her to die. She was bloody annoying. I did not like the character. I think I personally believe that I understand as an actress what is his name? Moses Ingram took it to the role. Because at the end of the day, it's a good role to pivot. It's a good franchise to pivot you towards stardom. I understand that. However, the character was shit. Her acting was not convincing, which part you can blame that on the director, because the director is supposed to direct the actor to perform their job properly. So if the director wasn't directing, that's the director's fault. And the script wasn't good either. A character is nonsensical. Overall, from a character's perspective, the choices that the character make was illogical, dumb, stupid. So it wasn't even the actress only, because to be honest, I don't think the actress, if the script was actually good, I think Mozinga probably could have convinced us that she could have played the role. But because the scripts were so bad, bafflingly bad, where it's almost like you have to really sit down and push yourself through this series. I don't know, I rewatched the original Star Wars and the prequel Star Wars. On the original Star Wars, especially even the prequel Star Wars was I think the prequels was filled with more action than the original Star Wars. The original Star Wars was slow burning. So I've watched slow burning shows. And this ain't it. This is not slow burning in the sense of it's slow, but not for the right reasons. It's not slow in terms of building on past things for the character, because as I said, they played to disrespect Obi-Wan. Reva was intolerable. Her attitude, her behavior was disrespectful to the chain of command. She should have been dead or punished somehow. She was just a bad character overall. The choices were nonsensical. What she says was I'm not gonna pick on Reva because the dialogue overall in this series was shit. Nothing could save Reva because the dialogue overall, either from Kenobi or anybody in this series, was not good on a general status. From time to time, yes, you might have good interactions, but overall, how people talk to each other and even communicate was dumb. Didn't make any sense whatsoever. I think whoever handled this series did not know what to do, how to do their job, so they just did whatever. I don't know. It was poorly done, and the script was really bad. The dialogue was really bad. The effects was okay. The visual effects was fine. I particularly like the visual effects a lot. It was very entertaining it was the most entertaining part of it, because visual effects was good. But the story is shit, so the visual effects can't save shitty story and stuff. But one thing I will say though, this series is pushing me closer and closer. This series showed me that Disney Plus has nothing, and I really am thinking about canceling my Disney Plus subscription, to be honest. It was lame. That's just the gist of it, guys. What else was the problem with it? The action scenes was really boring. We had a few good moments, but overall, in general, the action scenes were very boring. I did not enjoy the actions. I did not enjoy the scenes that they were trying to make it thrilling, I guess. Such certain scenes, like the Princess Leia chair seems pretty dumb. How the Jedi get that the Inquisitor was hunting in episode 1 and got away was dumb. Trying to remember what is in this series after the first 2 episodes. The entire thing with Obi-Wan struggling with the Force was stupid. I couldn't get behind that. Like, if Obi-Wan Kenobi, General Obi-Wan Kenobi, was supposed to protect Luke, wouldn't he continue to train, even if he's hiding lightsaber out in the desert, right? Wouldn't he at least walk around, use a stick to train or something, just to visualize training and practicing with the Force? I think too, they make Reva so good because due to my deep understanding of Star Wars lore, it's clear that yes, there are Jedis that are Force users that can sense other Force presence, whether it's in general or just from other Jedis, and what Jedi they come from is there. But what I understand is this only happens like for ones when I think it was in Rebels where Anakin was chasing Ahsoka. Was it Rebels? I think it was Rebels. Or the final season of Clone Wars. Either one, when Anakin was chasing Ahsoka, and Darth Vader was chasing Ahsoka, rather, and she felt the Force. She basically felt Anakin's presence, basically, and she knew that it was him. That was an amazing thing whatsoever. But to say Reva, someone that clearly was a youngling when she started, so she wasn't good at the Force, she has no idea what Obi-Wan Force signature feels like, so how the hell can you sense Obi-Wan? It's not like she's Darth Vader. You haven't spent a lot of time around Obi-Wan, how can you sense him? The most that could happen is probably the Grand Inquisitor sense a Force user. But for a sister to be so powerful to sense Obi-Wan specifically, I think that was pretty stupid. And also Reva was not menacing. I looked at Moses Ingram's face, I did not feel terrified. As much as the script was bad, when I don't remember Anakin, the actor for Anakin's name. When Anakin was on the screen in the flashbacks, you can feel the evil in him coming through his. He had the presence of villainy, but Moses Ingram did not. I did not feel terrified I did not feel a sense of dread when she was on screen. To be honest, I didn't feel like some shit was gonna go down. I couldn't take her seriously, to be honest. And nevertheless, her motivations were nonsensical. I didn't understand it at all. It was too much convoluted, and the fact that she just seemed like an evil brat from the beginning of the series, I could not really get behind her as a character or anything. She was just evil to me, to be honest. Everybody was like, I think for people who defend the Disney Plus series, most of them, especially people who defend Boba Fett, of all things, understand that if you're probably not that engraved in Star Wars lore, or if you just like goofy movies overall, I guess you will like those type of movies, the series, I guess. But I'm not a goofy guy. When I'm watching series, I'm watching shit for some real shit. Yes, not everything should be serious, but at the same time, you can add levity while still retaining a sense of seriousness. But with Obi-Wan, I don't think you can do that. Because to be honest, Obi-Wan was always a straight character. He was a no-nonsense character. He wasn't the wise-cracking character. That was Anakin. Anakin cracked, based on the Clone Wars. Anakin cracked the jokes. And I think the writers missed a very futile opportunity, is to use the Clone Wars that expand the expression and character of Obi-Wan and Anakin to build on this series. Instead, they seem to not use anything, because even in the flashback, Anakin seems line delivery was, yes, it was when he was young. I don't know why they would flashback to when he was that well young. I would at least put him, if we were gonna do a flashback, I would have put him back when, probably in between, in the midst of the Clone Wars, when they were probably on another break and just de-stressing for this sparring session. And you could have them talk about something very important, like having a conversation, like, you know, people do West Sparring, not having a conversation, and then the conversation gets heated, and you can see that it could have shown Anakin get overwhelmed with emotions, and then he get carried away. You could have done so much more with the series, but they just choose not to. Like, let's jump right to the finale, because I really don't care about the series. So, in the finale, they tried to wrap up everything in the finale. One thing I would say is, from the stab that Reva gotten on Tatooine, sorry. The way fast she traveled to Tatooine between episode, you could have not judged me to think that she was stabbed on Tatooine, because Reva, whichever planet she was stabbed on, I don't remember the planet's name, she, between episodes, she reached on Tatooine pretty darn fast. On a planet, she was on a barren planet that had no transportation whatsoever. How the hell she reached on Tatooine that fast when even Obi-Wan in a ship could not get away from planet that fast? That was just a major plot hole, nonsensical plot hole. It was dumb. The entire fight with Owen and everything, Reva was... I didn't feel a sense of dread, as I said. I didn't really care, because unless they were going to straight up kill Luke, then we were talking about blatant disrespecting. Or kill somebody in a family, then we were talking about blatant disrespecting. But overall, I didn't feel dread, I didn't feel terrified, I didn't feel like anything was really going to happen to the character. And this is the thing, even with Obi-Wan in the Rebel series, where he was fighting Darth Maul, you still feel like it can go either way. You know Obi-Wan will live, but the fight scene keep it a sense of, what the hell? But because you know who Darth Maul is, like, oh my god, he's probably gonna harm Obi-Wan in certain ways. And they're like, remember, no, he cannot be harmed, because he's gonna be he needs to still be alive to guide Luke, basically. But still, you give it a second guess yourself, and the fight scene was so well done. I think Star Wars in animation is the best thing since sliced bread. Star Wars in live action does not work. I wouldn't say it does not work, because it did work, because that was his origin. But I think from what we've seen in animation, the live action has not been yet to replicate that. Or, not to replicate, but come close, because your mind can't do all the movements and from animation and live action, to be honest. Give it the prequel series try, though. A lot of those movements in animation was in the prequel series, to be honest. Flipping around and all that kind of business. But the fight scenes in this series, especially the finale, was very underwhelming. But it was in a series that was underwhelming. It wasn't good. I liked the one between Obi-Wan and the last part, but it felt like, where you get that power from, bro? And the part when they levitate all the rocks was like, bro, you're not that strong. You're not that powerful. We're talking Darth Vader. You're not that powerful, Obi-Wan. Come on, stop being a child. You can see the writers had a boner because Darth Vader should have been able to demolish Obi-Wan, even though he did demolish Obi-Wan. But even at Obi-Wan's peak, Darth Vader should be demolishing him same way. And I think this is probably where the Star Wars fightings overall since the recent years is that you see a slow in reaction time between characters. It doesn't feel like they're reacting fast enough. And that was never since, as far as my memory serves, was the problem in the prequel series. But in this, it felt like they weren't reacting fast enough. But still, Darth Vader was defeated by Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan chased off the thought. Even when he left the planet, where is the ship to shoot the bastard down? But anyways, he got away. Went to Tatooine. To be honest, I'm tired of talking about it. We're up above like 30 minutes now. The basis of it, this series is trash. If you like it, power to you, I guess. But this series is trash. Disney Plus series overall are mostly trash. Yeah, I think I don't know. Tell me guys' thoughts down below. Do you like the series? Do you enjoy the series? Because I don't know, I hate this series. It's a waste of my time and energy. I did not like it. And I guess when we finish, we'll talk about Miss Marvel. When that finishes, or can just catch up review of all the episodes so far. Because I'm quite frankly enjoying Miss Marvel to certain degrees, more than I enjoyed Obi-Wan Kenobi, to be honest. So, without further ado, guys, see you guys in the next one. And if you like content like this or movie review content, let me know in the comment section down below.